start the live. So we're going to wait till we get more people in here. Okay, we're going to wait till we get more people in. This is a spiritual day, grounding y'all. So try not to say negative things. Try to stay positive with hopeful energy. So if you have a white light therapy, you can do that today. Like going to the gym and going in the white light therapy booth, or putting on your white light therapy lamp, or smoking your CBD today if you got it. The energy got real heavy yesterday, and it felt like so much energy was being dumped. A lot of people was releasing a lot of toxicity yesterday, and it was weighing me and my family member down yesterday, and it was pushing us to the edge. So y'all might want to do a clearing of your space today. I saw the phrase clear thinking. So you might want to clear out your eyes, clear your face with eucalyptus and mint, burn some sage. Definitely sage during this moon. And just try to keep the air clean and try to keep the air cool and refreshing. You might want to wash your clear quartz stone and then put it back on. Because I just can't believe how heavy the energy got yesterday. So I'm going to get me some tea, y'all. I'm having me green tea. Green tea is really good for older spiritual people, especially older women who are spiritual. And it's good for like losing weight and anxiety. Also curbing appetite so you don't get greedy. You know, when we have a moon like we have now, people tend to release so much energy chasing money, going too hard rather than giving gratitude. Hi, everybody. This is a good day to find ways to boost your gratitude. You know what I find an interesting way to kind of put you in gratitude even though you don't know that you're in it is when you just do something fun. I know that sounds ridiculous, but you can give gratitude without trying to do gratitude. You can do childish things. When you be a child, you're instantly giving gratitude. So if you're trying to get some vision work done or have a new life path, you have to make sure that you're putting time aside for giving gratitude. Now, and I know there's a bunch of people that say it's toxic to be hooked on gratitude. There's people speaking out against gratitude, and that's because they're defining gratitude the wrong way. They think gratitude is accepting what you have already. Gratitude is being thankful for what you got. It doesn't mean not wanting more. It doesn't mean that you're not entitled to more. It doesn't mean that you didn't do any better to get more. You can't control what the world gives you. The world, everything has free will. So you can only be thankful for what you got, regardless of how hard you worked. Lots of people work very hard every day, and they don't get what they think they should get according to their work. But there's something I found out about that. I found out that sometimes we're undervaluing what we get. We don't see all the abundance that it leads to. Think about a cup of coffee. People take coffee for granted. When coffee was something that the royals and the emperors were allowed to have, it really wasn't something that the servants were allowed to have. Once upon a time, coffee was considered extremely abundant because the energy it can put you in to get work done. So in the old days, the servants was given beer to get them to be loose and messy and just do their work without complaint. But the royal people was given coffee so they can have awareness while they're working, so they can work in a way on purpose. They could make decisions on purpose. They wanted the power of clear thinking over their servants. They didn't want their servants to have the mental power that they have. So what I'm saying is, if you're having trouble of giving gratitude, you need to ask, what are the other abundance that whatever you got is leading to? Maybe it's not done manifesting for you. Maybe you think that's all there is. We have such limiting minds, a lot of human beings, where it's like, oh, I did this YouTube channel and all it gave me was $10,000 and I've been at it 5 years. I'm gonna go ahead and pack it up. That's all the abundance is supposed to give me. But meanwhile, there are extended abundance that can come from those videos. There was lessons you learned that could lead you to extra abundance. There was people you met that can lead you to more abundance. But people don't realize that. Like, once you find abundance in a certain place, you should be mining, strategizing the mining, so you can find out how to get more abundance out of it, or maybe work in that same place or just in a different part of that place to see if there's other abundance. Like, for example, if you're mining in the same stone area, sometimes the abundance is in that part of the cave, but it's not where you're exactly aiming at. So it doesn't mean you abandon the cave. You just kind of readjust move your aim. I just saw a quote that said, "The man who never alters his opinion is like standing water and breeds reptiles of the mind." William Blake. I just saw that quote. So we're living in a world where it's like a lot of people have their own perspective. They're not seeing other perspectives when it comes to success, especially. A lot of people just have a one-track mind when it comes to success, and then they give up or they quit. I love the story of Charles Bukowski. I often use him as an example because he is an example of how right when you think what you're doing is not going to give you abundance, if you focus, readjust your aim, then the bigger abundance come. When Charles Bukowski started writing the truth, being more blunt and really focusing on the evidence of life and being raw and straightforward with it, that's when his abundance started really coming through. Okay, he just had to change his approach and his strategy. He didn't have to stop writing. He didn't have to stop writing poetry. He had to also change his life to accommodate his poetry writing, which means he had to get a job that didn't interfere with his poetry writing. And so that's why he quit the post office. So what I'm saying is, during this time, if you can't get in gratitude energy, let somebody else get you in it. That's why I say the family that prays together. If you don't have the strength and motivation to pray for yourself and to remind yourself of your value, let somebody else do it. I know we always say getting pampered is for the rich. Getting pampered is for people who got money to burn. And that's not true. There's some things I disagree with Lynn Richardson when she says, oh, have some ramen noodles instead and all this. To me, that's coming off thinking lack. Okay, you're thinking lack. When you say, I'm going to get real cheap with my life, then you're thinking lack. You're saying You're saying to the creator that money comes slow to me, that I don't know if money going to come as fast, that I'm not worth quality. And if you feel you're not worth quality, then you can't really expect money to flow to you. Hi, everybody. So I'm only going to be talking for another 10 minutes, and then I'm going to head on out. You have to say you are worth decent quality or high quality. Okay? I also was getting the people being obsessed with rewards leading to other rewards. I got that intuitively. There was a video that I watched like a year ago, and suddenly I remembered it this morning. And the guy was saying, "Reward yourself, something that leads you to other rewards." And I feel like that is how we're getting a passive, low vibration world. This addiction to try to have some sort of guarantee that rewards will always be led to other rewards. And that right there is coming from desperation. You know, when I reward myself, it's not because I feel like, okay, this can definitely lead me to another reward. I reward myself because it is a part of who I am, and it's what my soul need. So I've learned that long as I am choosing only because it's what my soul need, it has to be something that leads to another reward. But I cannot choose it because it can lead to another reward. That's coming from an opportunist. That's a spiritual opportunist. And I think a lot of people are being groomed to be a spiritual opportunist with this goal chasing. And that's why we got a new epidemic that is called worldwide burnout. People are like, well, I got this reward. I got this reward because it's going to lead me to another reward. It's connected to something else I'm doing. So it's going to lead to another reward. So I could use this to get the next reward. I could use this to get the next reward. See, the cycle never ends. People don't even feel like they can take a break because they got something, they got a reward that they know that will lead to another reward. So then it's like endless chasing. See what I'm saying? When your intentions is to keep getting reward rather than getting something that just feeds your soul, you're on your way to burnout. You're on your way to a reality in which you have burnout. And then at some point, it's not going to matter. The rewards are not going to matter because you're not even going to have the energy or the strength to use them. Hi, everybody. Hi, Antonella. I like to go off screen a lot when we're about to have a full moon or a new moon or when people are releasing. Because when people are releasing, they're tempted to do spiritual violation. When people are releasing, they tend to latch on to people they find strong and they tend to harvest their energy. They'll dump their energy, then harvest that person's energy. So this is why it's important that when you are releasing, you allow yourself to be unseen, some privacy, some private leisure. You know, when you're doing vision work, that's like you going to God, which means privacy. If you went to go into the booth with the priest, you wouldn't invite everybody in the booth with you. You would be in the booth by yourself. Going to a priest is another way of releasing. So if you are listening to priests, high priestesses like me and others, it needs to be a sacred time. And if you are listening to God, if you're a high priestess or high priest going to God, it needs to be sacred time, which means you cannot be so visible to everybody. You need to do disappearing acts. It gets really easy to release toxicity and blocks when you do disappearing acts, when you are unpredictable. Because some people Some people, they don't know what to do to release. They're just looking for someone to synchronize with to do it. And then it becomes very hard for you to keep the vision because somebody else is focusing on you who you didn't choose. And that's the thing. This is why I don't do a lot of eye contact out in these streets no more. This is why I don't talk a lot out in these streets. People are abusing their spiritual powers. You're misusing them. And that always happens when it's desperate times and the economy is struggling and people are in panic energy about survival. We're in a world where a lot of people think that they're in gratitude energy, but if you're on that work harder, smarter, that's not gratitude. If you're hooked on that, if you don't know how to sometimes just waste the day, where you just let the day go by and you just chill like our ancestors did, where they just do something fun and just chill all day. If you can't do that, then you're not in gratitude energy. If you have a hard time calling off work when you know you need off, you're not in gratitude energy. When you can't just use the free resources, when you're ashamed to use free resources, you're not in gratitude energy. When you can't just be one person, you're not in gratitude energy. I see people switch up so much, I don't recognize them from week to week. And it's like they don't know that internally, spiritually, they're chasing. I have so much respect for the Gilded Age because at least they made up their minds. They made up their minds. They said, we're going to wear hats and we're going to wear dresses and we're going to stay around this weight range and we're going to have this role. See, the Gilded Age was actually pretty balanced. Only thing that was the problem in the Gilded Age was racism. If there wasn't no racism, it would have been a very good time to be. Nobody was switching up their minds all the time. They was buying beautiful homes and keeping the homes. They wasn't buying stuff because somebody else had better or somebody did whatever. They cared about their reputation and they didn't slander and hate on people and tell lies. And if you did tell lies on people in the Gilded Age, the whole community would kick you out. You wouldn't even be welcomed. They didn't make fun of the poor or the hungry or the weak. Stoics wasn't disrespected. They stayed in their lane. We're rich, you're poor. Okay, we don't have nothing to say about you. We ain't even sitting around talking bad on our servants. We ain't got time for that because we all got a role to play. And I really hope that we can go back to picking up some of the lessons of a time period that some of us might have been in only as a different person. Every time period was abundant, and we're supposed to be using every time period to become the best we should be for society, not just for ourselves. Yeah, exactly. When you get gifts, you just get gifts. You don't get gifts to say, I'm use this gift to get more gifts. We're living in a world like that. I told somebody yesterday, I said, the reason why you're stuck on the same weight. You've been stuck on that same weight for about 3 years. I said, your karma keeps being locked up. And I said, let me tell you why. I said, you've been given so many things, so many amazing things. You've been given houses for free, cars for free. You never had to go on job interviews. You was given jobs the job that you wanted for free. You always knew people. People always have money to give you. You're literally a very privileged person and you don't share none of it. I said, just let that sink in your mind that you don't even share it with me. And you know I never had your privileges. I said, you didn't got 3, 4 different cars and you never let me drive one. You didn't got 3, 4 different cars for free in almost top shape. And you didn't let me drive one. Yet I bought my car and you always had a spare key. I bought my car with hard earned money. And you were always allowed to have the spare key to drive it whenever you wanted. And I said, whenever your car was in the shop, you always could drive my car. Yet, you got 3 free cars, and you acted like you didn't want me to drive your car, and I have a flawless driving record for years. I said, but this is, you think that getting gifts is enough to define who you are. It's also what you put out after you get those gifts. You can't just hold on to gifts and think, okay, now my karma's clear. You're still being tested when you get those gifts. And so he said, you know what, you're right. I didn't do that. Okay? So I just said what I said and I let him think about how, the energy he was in. And then I noticed that when he made his meal, he made his meal smaller. He was more mindful with his dinner. You see what I'm saying? So gratitude for other people also blocks you from obstacles. It puts you in an energy of inner peace. And so you make smarter decisions for yourself. The Creator will not let you make smart decisions for yourself when you're not grateful, have gratitude of your family. You'll have to do wicked, sneaky things to get ahead. Hi, everybody. And so, I decided that life is just, look, this is what I realized. Life is just a world where we're supposed to just enjoy it. It is not about how much we're gaining. It's not about how much we're gaining every day or compared to anyone else. It's just about literally enjoying our day, giving ourselves exactly what we need, not compromising on it. You can't compromise on giving yourself what you need and expect to have breakthroughs. This is what it means when God say worship no other but me. He's also saying worship no other but you. I know that's deep because you is proof of your relationship with God. And if you worship other people, you're not worshiping you. And worshiping you means taking very good care of you and making you a top priority. We define worship different. God defines it as being thankful of the work that you've done for yourself, praising yourself sometime, lighting a candle for yourself, a white candle for yourself, saying thank you to the person you was yesterday that served you, or the person that you were that you released, because every release is a form of death. Having a ceremony, a funeral, a spiritual funeral for the person that you no longer is, that you have laid to rest. And taking time, especially during a moon like this, to say thank you. Because every part of who we were have worked for us in some way. If it didn't, you would be starved to death by now. You wouldn't even be at this point that you're at. You wouldn't have some of the things you have right now. you wouldn't have some of the power, mental power that you have right now. So any old versions of you, any sense of being that you were months ago did work for you in some way. You just need to go through the obituary of you, and you need to keep certain things and throw the rest away. Basically, you need to rob your own grave, okay, if that makes sense. And you're allowed to because you did the grave. So you you rob your own grave, you lay your old self to rest, and then you go revisit the grave and you say, wait a minute, I needed to keep this, I needed to keep that, I needed to keep this. But the rest of these bones can stay in the graveyard. This is very deep. I saw an angel scripture number that confirmed that I would. This is what I was doing. That I did it today, and I'm just happy that I went back to some checkpoints in my past that I needed to keep. Okay, and one of the things that I needed to get back out of my grave, the person that I threw away months ago had some abundance to it, and one of the things I had to go get out the grave was a body movement. I didn't realize how important it is for my body to move. See, the devil put spell work on my introvert nature, which is more of a high priestess. Okay? Introverts are normally have a lot of high priestess duties in this world. They're normally very important for society, even though people may not think so because they're introverts. Um, so I didn't realize that the devil put spell work on my introvert energy. He made me he made me stay in freeze mode. Okay? When I wasn't supposed to be ice, I was supposed to be wind. See what I'm saying? I was supposed to be wind. So he messed around with my energy. But I decided to go with my intuitive feeling and what I felt, and I just did it today. And what I did was exactly what I needed to, what I had did before in the past. I didn't even remember until I did it. See what I'm saying? I was able to get into my tune of my past self. My memory, my consciousness went there, and then I remembered, and I had an aha moment and was like, yeah, I remember doing this. And then I saw an angel scripture number that said, you have revisited and picked up some habit, started doing habits again that was actually really good for you. That's important for your purpose and for your destiny. And it said, congratulations. Put some leisure time aside for you. And I said to myself, wait a minute, I'm supposed to put leisure time aside for me for that. But then that gave me a wake up call. Okay, I know I was doing it. We are thinking that we're not realizing that what we think are the little things are actually big things. Okay, we if I if I had took this glamour shower, I would be like, yeah, this is a big thing in comparison to the body movement that I did. But see, that was me thinking like a human. If I'm thinking like a spiritual being, then I would not be saying that my body movement wasn't as abundant. There's no such thing as one abundant being better than another abundant. They're all created equal in the metaphysical world. So when I got the angel number of leisure, I realized, I said, okay, that must have been a really hard checkpoint for me. I must have been really struggling to get back to that checkpoint, and because I did it, God wants me to reward myself by just pampering myself. And then that led me to another aha moment, and I started to say, well, is there something else in my tomb that I was supposed to take with me that I need to go back and get? And then I realized it also had to do with pampering. So you see what I'm saying? Doors lead to other doors. Doors lead to other doors, even in your tomb. You know, like on the movie The Guardians, where the Santa Claus showed the little person, and then it led to another little person, then another little person. That's just how manifestation works. But you cannot you cannot even get to the center person, the other little persons within, until you get to those difficult checkpoints that's on the outside that might be staring you in your face, but you're thinking small about it. You see what I'm saying? And that was me with the body movement. And also doing it alone. I used to always do body movements with crowds of people, groups of people. I used to always do that. Like we all dance, yoga, whatever together, but I didn't know that I'm actually supposed to be doing it alone. Okay, I'm actually supposed to be, um, like the star of my own show. I'm supposed to be a star. I'm not supposed to be in the background. I'm not supposed to just be within the clutter. But I didn't know that. And now I understand why I always felt crowded by my family, suffocated. And I'm sharing my story. So I'm hoping that this will kind of give y'all some introspection about finding, your the different things in your tomb that you might have buried that you need to retrieve. We bury things sometimes. We underestimate it. We underrate it. We bury about ourselves. Sometimes it's because we're trying to please society. Fear. We're scared of society judgment. I was thinking yesterday how I've been watching the series Gilded Age, and it's been giving me a transformation. I've been feeling the transformation, and it feels good. I keep watching the series Gilded Age. I think every woman needs to watch that series. Every woman and every man. It doesn't matter if they white, black in here. It's just a wake up call. Okay, in many ways, when you start to really think about that time period, I realize that my transformation required me to return to some things in my tomb that I only put in there because of what society said. And when I think about the Gilded Age, I think about how they was living on their own terms. They was wearing their hair the way they wanted to. They was wearing hats in the way that they wanted to. Their fashion was personal. They even had people designing their clothes, and they were unapologetic about their interesting design of their clothes. And I'm thinking of how white people are still in our energy, but us people of color, we tend to be apologetic by our decisions of a celebration of our inner self. We tend to choose our outside identity based upon whatever culture we got to appeal to. And this is causing our visions to not be in alignment with who we really are. So for example, I remember I was like trying to work real hard, to get my hair real long. And I'm like, I was only doing that because in the culture of black people, that's what you're supposed to be chasing or whatever. And it was like, um, no, I like my hair no longer than shoulder length. I never really liked my hair way down my back and stuff like that. But it's like if I don't chase long length, then I'm not proving my powers as a black person. And see, that was something I had to put back in my tomb. I had to put that in my tomb. Okay? And I had to take out the truth. And the truth of the matter is I don't see myself with a afro picked afro. I don't care what black society say. I don't care. I know my feeling inside don't match the afro pick afro. It's not about self-hate. It's about my spirit feeling inside. And this is very deep, okay? This is very deep. Who you are as a person spiritually inside That's what you pick as your identity. It has nothing to do with the race that you were born in this time. It has nothing to do with the race and the culture that you was raised in as a child. It has nothing to do with that. And I know that is so hard to conceive in the black community because we've been raised that we have to prove that we're black supporting. We have to prove that we team black. But I don't understand why people don't realize you can support. If you want to make it race based, you can support your race by giving back to it. But you do not have to follow the code of what it means to look like it. You look the way you feel. The way you feel. I, when I'm not teaching, I'm a gentle spirit. I am soft. I'm kind of a pusher. My daughter pushes over me. I'm a pushover with my daughter. And I'm actually very soft and sensitive and sweet and gentle, even with my family members. So I know that I need my outer look to look soft and free. And I need my hair to be soft. And I love wrapping myself around my loved one. I love wrapping myself around my partner. I love being tangled up and twisted with my partner. And I'm not talking about sex. I just love to be able to, like, my arm over their arm and my leg wrapped around their leg. I like that kind of stuff. So I know that a part of my image has to support my intimate inward self. We all have a personal intimacy, and identity must match your intimacy. And I'm talking about this because I know people are doing vision work. Like, yeah, I'm doing vision work. It's the new moon, all this. Okay, when we get into vision, we're also like working on identity and image. But you need to ask yourself who you really are when society's not looking, when you're not around anybody, when you're not putting on airs. Who are you when it's just your boo that you've been with for years? Where you have no reason to have your guard up. When you're just alone cruising by yourself. If you journal that, you'll find out the true image you're supposed to have. And you cannot decide because of society. Your spiritual plan and your soul mission has an identity. So I just hope everybody connected with this. I didn't do no cards. I'm just intuitively giving y'all this info. I also got um what did I got? Oh, I got build the foundation up. Now when I got that build a foundation from scratch, I literally got like ship everything out before you put anything in. So some of y'all may need to clear something completely out and then decide what to keep. Instead of like slow purging and purging while you're in the room, you need to possibly pack up everything and then pick out the boxes. There's a guy on YouTube named Thomas, and he said that's what he do. He keeps everything boxed up. And so his home is very empty. And then what he does is he just puts out what he's going to use. And he says it keeps the energy clear in the room so that his mind can wander without energy interruptions. So he was saying that, and I just remember like really like that's kind of deep because a lot of us just have everything sitting out, and see that was how we did. That's what happened in modern times. When the modern times came, we were putting everything out for show. Okay, but in the Gilded Age, we weren't doing that. In the Gilded Age, we had attics where a lot of things were stored away. In the Gilded Age, only thing we had out was the most abundant things. It might have been a 200-year-old vase that our great great grandma passed down to us. That would be out. And things that we would use, dishes we would use every day would be out. Anything else would be down in a pantry, cupboard, or in an attic somewhere. I find that the modern times has created problems with our frequency, the decisions that some of us made. But I think it happened because the modern times, a lot of people were getting high, so they really didn't care about sober spiritualism. So they wasn't really thinking about all the excess furniture they had in their apartment or the unnecessary decor. They wasn't thinking about that. They was too busy, getting high because it was war times or whatever. Yeah. In the Gilded Age, they actually had a spare room in which everything was in there. And you may not even knew they had that much. You would go in their living room and they would have just the couch and the table and a flower vase and teacup tray. And you would say, oh, this rich person don't got nothing. But they did. They just didn't have it out. Um, I think that when you don't have outside riches looking at you, it's easier to go in within. It's easier to appreciate the inward. Now, I have to give props to the Asian people. The Asian people literally, they're more in the Gilded Age than we are. If you ever look with the Asian people, when they dress up for special occasions, they actually wear their hair like the Gilded Age. The women do, like all rolled up and curled up and pinned up with beautiful flowers and stuff in it. So, and they wear like these flowy gowns, with the satin, lace satin sash and stuff like that. Um, Also, they wear looser clothing from the waist down. The Asian women do. So that's like the Gilded Age. That's what they were doing. They were wearing looser clothing for the waist downs because their downstairs was considered very sacred. And when they showed their cleavage, it was only because the event called for it. Like if they were going for a masquerade ball or something like that. But I think that some cultures that's not American, they decided not to go with the American changes. So that's why they seem like they're smarter than us. They seem like they're learning faster than us. They seem like they're vibrating higher than us. And many of them are because they did not get into the modernism. Now, I know people think that, like, when you get into the Gilded Age, oh, it's vanity. No, they actually did not have as many clothes as we have. And they were donating their clothes. They didn't keep a bunch of clothes for like 10 years stored in a closet somewhere like we do. They would sell their dresses. They would have auctions. They kept their stuff so nice that they could literally have monthly auctions to auction out their dresses and things like that. Because there was an episode in Gilded Age in which they were doing that. They had an auction, and everyone in the community was able to bring their finest things that they didn't want anymore, and they were setting up tables, and we call them pop-up now. We call them pop-up, but in the Gilded Age, they actually considered that to be an event. That's just how low vibration we are compared to them. We call up, oh, just pop-up selling, flea market selling. They didn't call it that. They actually saw it as an event because they saw it as still very abundant. So um, people would donate a space of their home. Somebody rich would say, "Oh, this big space, my lawn or whatever, I'm gonna donate for this auction," and everyone in the community would come with their finest things that they didn't want anymore, and they would let people bid on, walk up and bid, and be like, "Okay, 2, 3, negotiate." Um, but nowadays we don't want to invest in quality. See, in the old days, the Gilded Age, those women might have had 10 to 15 dresses a season. Nowadays, women got literally 3 wardrobe of clothes per season. It's really ridiculous. Um, so I feel like for example, I decided that any of my fine clothes will not go in the washer. I know that's like me going into like Gilded Age time, but my money is just too precious to risk a washing machine trashing. You know, you can't really stop a washing machine from trashing your valuable clothes. So I decided to get a hamper in which all my finest stuff, there's more of me that I pay good money for, or just of high quality, a rare find. Those clothes go into a hamper, and I'm literally going to be hand washing once the hamper's full, hand washing, and hanging my clothes up. I really don't care if people in my lawn say, "Oh, I see clothes hanging up," or if they're hanging up in the basement. The point that I'm making is that um, we have to start treating money, no matter what form it comes in, better than we're doing. And that's what the Gilded Age was about. Every single day, they put at least an hour aside to literally dust down their entire house. Even if they didn't do a deep cleaning, it was a daily thing. It wasn't a moon thing. It wasn't a scheduled weekly thing. It was a daily thing. And this is why they were also coming up with so many ideas in that time. So many inventions like the electricity, Thomas Edison and all of them. It was because they was doing deep dusting, cleaning every single day, and it wasn't just one room. They were doing their house from top to bottom every single day. And when you do that, that's a form of deep meditation. Okay? That's a whole nother level of meditation. That's like you don't even gotta go to confession. You won't even need affirmations anymore because you have mentally got through the fall through appreciating the act of treasuring what you have to the point where you spend an hour. You might take a 5 minute break every 20 minutes, but you take very good care of what you have. Every single thing. And I find that we are far gone from that. Like we're just so far gone from that. I don't even see people going to the salon to get shampoo and conditioning. I'm hearing people shampoo and conditioning their own hair. And to me it's like, are you really glamorizing that? Like I'm seeing that in the black community. There's only so much self-worth energy you can give to yourself. You can't be the only one giving that to yourself. If you're doing things for yourself that makes your body hurt and uncomfortable and stuff, then you're still coming from lack, and you're not going to get the breakthrough energetically that you want. So when I see black people bending over sinks and tubs and all this type of stuff, doing these videos on YouTube, wash and condition your own hair, I'm going to save my money, that's coming from lack, because you literally can go to any salon and get, most of the salons, the haircut salons, you can literally get a wash and shampoo for literally $10. You can get a conditioning and shampoo for $10. You can get a roller set for $10. Roller set lasts you a week. If you get 4 roller sets a month, you literally have only spent $40 on your hair. See what I'm saying? The Gilded Age, they were saving way more money than we are. Well, we're spending $100 every 2 months on our hair. They were only spending 80 at the most, or 60. And this is the realest talk. You can look really good for less. Like you really can. If you're going with trends, then you're saying you want to spend money like everybody's spending in the trend. Do you have their money? Like when you get $100 braids every 2 months or extensions or sew-ins, is your money flowing in like their money? Do you have more kids to raise than they do? The other black people who are getting that. You don't know about their money situation, but you know that even a poor man can afford a $10 haircut. You know, even a poor man can afford a shampoo and conditioning for $10. I see some pretty good looking homeless people, um, uh, people who were homeless. They're living in government homes, but they're looking really good. And people say, how are they? They're living off the system. No, they're not. Their welfare and disability check, they're only spending $15 at the salon, but they're not doing it themselves. That's why they got more peace in themselves than you do. They feeling very covered and favored because they're willing to pay at least $20 to get somebody else to do it. Exactly. We have all these closets, walk-in closet full of overflow stuff, and bending our head over sinks to do our own hair. This gets me every time. You have a literally endless amount, a mountain, a avalanche of clothes, but your hair and your skin is not worth the money. Like you're not worth the shampoo and conditioner treatment. I literally had a friend say, I never met anyone that just goes to the salon every month for shampoo and conditioning. He said, you don't go for nothing else? I said, no. Sometimes a roller set. And he said, I just ain't never hear black women just going for shit. I said, because we want to bend over tubs and we want to hurt our back. We want to be like we're still in slavery days. We want to say that we're covered and favored and that we're empresses and emperors, but yet we still have a slave mentality. In the Gilded Age, none of those white women was bending over, breaking their neck, twisting their bodies to shampoo their own hair. Shampoo and conditioning is literally very spiritual. It literally works the demons out of your crown. It literally helps your crown to have a release. And when you're doing it and you're stressed out, you ain't really serving your crown like you're supposed to. Like the most I'll even, that's why when I shampoo and condition my own hair, I think it's Suave and it has hydration and it's shampoo conditioning in one. Meaning I shampoo my hair and I rinse it and that's all I got to do. I don't do two, three, 4 steps. That's for somebody else to do for me. I do one step with my hair. One step. Because I'm an empress. And I hope if you want money to flow to you, you have to think like this. You have to say that I'm worth getting somebody else to do it. So, for example, when I had a family member cook this week, I did not join in the cooking. I set the table. I did the lightweight work. I'm an empress. I didn't cook long enough. I didn't cook 20 some years of my life or more. I didn't cook for a whole child for 21 years. I don't want to cook my meals every single day if I ain't got to. I will do light duty stuff. I'm on my way to the light. I'm an empress. So so I actually started having a life where it's light duty. I'm obsessed with light duty. I was watching a video where this Asian guy was like, if you want to live longer and you're older, you have to do exercises that are lightweight stuff. But I think that needs to be our entire life. I saw a quote that said, if you add tension, tension is who you trying to be, relaxed is who you are. If I'm breaking my neck to cook a dinner for a lot of people, I'm trying to be somebody else. But if I'm relaxed cooking a certain dinner, then I'm being myself. I know that I'm relaxed when I'm baking. I'm relaxed when I'm making soup. I'm not relaxed when I'm frying and flipping and snatching things off the grill and I'm pounding meat and all that. That doesn't relax me. That relaxes other people. What relaxes me is setting a beautiful table and making everybody feel comfortable, and making people tea, serving tea, blending tea, making juicy juices. That relaxes me. I don't need to be nobody but who I already am in my spirit, what keeps me peace. Peace from the start. I don't want to do something and I got peace at the end. If it doesn't start in peace, then I'm trying to be somebody that I'm not. Hi, everybody. Yeah, I'm learning the hard way. Okay? I was going so hard on me in everything over the past, not last few months, not the last 2 months, but before that. And my doctor literally intervened. My doctor was like, no, no. So I'm done. I was in here thinking I was Hercules. I was moving tables. I was running stuff up and down the steps all day. I was lifting weights on a daily basis, almost like 4 days a week. I was bending and twisting my body to clean cars out and all type of stuff like that. And I started producing so much cortisol that my doctor started being concerned about my liver. And my metabolism literally just crashed. Okay? I had to stop. So I'm canceling my gym membership. Because I don't need to walk on the trash. I need to walk outside. I don't need to use the canoe, the kayak machine at the gym. I need to go kayaking at the lake. I'm not trying to be a bodybuilder. So I really don't need a gym pass anymore. It's not good for me at my age. It's not good. So I'm leaving the gym. I would rather get fit the way the Asian empresses get fit. Like I'm going back to Argentina dancing. I was in the best shape of my life when I was doing tango. Some of y'all may not know, but I took tango classes. I took tango dance lessons. I was going to merengues. And I was always about 130 pounds. I almost had a six pack. I was literally super fit and I never went to the gym. I never lifted anything. I just walked and I shopped almost daily. An empress is supposed to shop daily. I know y'all think that's crazy, but an empress is supposed to reward herself on a daily basis. Whether it's I just walked to the ice cream shop and got some ice cream. If you are in your 40s, you didn't raise kids, you didn't took care of a whole ass man. I'm keeping it real. You didn't took care of your parents till they died or in a nursing home like I have done. No. You need to live a life of rewarding yourself. No one else needs to know your evidence of proof of your worth. You know what you've done. You're old now. You're middle aged. You know what you've done. I took care of my stepdad till he died. I took care of my mother. My whole family will say she always came through for mom and dad. I even buried my deadbeat dad. I did his whole funeral, designed it, helped pick out his suit, did his obituary. I done did 3 obituaries, helped with 1 obituary and did 2. I'm done. Okay, I done made every funeral of every friend that ever died. I done went to their viewings. I done visited their family members. I didn't did it all. I didn't move people. I moved about 5 people out of their house. I am rewarding myself daily now. When is enough going to be enough? When are you going to say, I've done enough. Now I can do what I can do now. I didn't see 9 to 5 job makes us think that that's proof of how much work you've done. But what about the work you've done for your family, for your community? What about that? That doesn't count? That doesn't count for spiritual peace, for you to sit on a high priestess energy? It does count. Exactly. Those Argentina dances are so therapeutic. Like when you leave those merengues, you be like, ah, my goodness. You be just like, I wish I could go to another merengue tonight. People just don't know what they're missing by when they don't go to merengues. Like even if you don't do tango, there's Mexican dances and stuff. I'm just keeping it real. This is why Mexican women look pretty good. I'm gonna keep it real. They do. They do. And Argentina women do too. But they move their body. They don't see just walking. In America, we're like walking goes to the gym. I'm trying to understand why that's the go-to way of getting in shape. Yeah, I used to be a leg model, y'all. I used to model legs, photographers used to I was a figure model, like body angles, body shapes, and lingerie. I was a lingerie model for a while. But it's just funny. I look back on that, but I was actually in the energy I was supposed to be in. So that's why I was looking my best. Um, and it was funny. What was funny is I didn't even care if if some of my black friends thought it was ridiculous that I was doing Argentina dancing and tango. I remember one time my mother was like so depressed about her husband dying. I said, "Mom, I'm gonna take you to a merengue, and they teach you for about an hour, and then you dance." And I took her, and the instructor taught her how to tango. She took a 1 hour lesson, and then they had the merengue with drinks and dancing. And she danced a couple times, and she was like, I really like that. She was like, so it was like the best gift I ever gave her. And she just kept saying, when can we go again? And we started going to merengues, and then I signed her up for an actual tango class that she took with me. And she was just so happy. And that was when her weight was down. Like I noticed that she was in like better shape. I don't think that the creator meant for us to just walk. I think we were supposed to dance daily. When you think about our ancestors, they celebrated it almost every night. Just getting food for the day was like celebration. We don't even dance for food now. That's like so sad. Dude, it's so sad that we don't think food's that abundant. Like people go out to dinner and then they go to the bedroom. And it just cracked me up because it's like somebody just bought you like $30 crab legs, and you're not going to dance. You're not going to celebrate. You're just going to have crab legs and liquor and go to the bedroom. It's just amazing of what we take for granted, all because we can't see the time period of when other people didn't have it. I think most of us need a momentarily trip back to a different time period in which we're stuck there for a good year, like maybe back to the 1800s, in the areas where they was dancing because they was able to have chicken and cornbread for the night. I think a lot of us need to go back to that, and then we'll probably be dancing our butts off when we come back to this time period. We'll be dancing daily. I'm just telling it like it is. But let's keep it real. The men look better too. Come on, y'all. Let's call it what it is. The Argentina men look better. They're leaner. They're skinny ripped. They are skinny ribbed. You don't see too many fat jack or fat male Argentina dancers. And this gets me to when I hear the men of America say, I'm going to get my passport. I'm saying, yo, you get your passport, but you don't even look like the men there. You get your passport and you won't even dance with a woman. You want to just come home from work and sit around and eat turkey and count your money. Because last time I checked, the Native American men, they ain't fat jack. They are that chubby. They dancing around the fire with the women. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Those even the prostitutes in South America, they're not taking the passport bros before the men that's there. If they get a man South America that called on for a trick, they're gonna take them faster than the passport bros. I've yet to see any passport bros looking like Argentino men. I've been to many merengues and I was like really shocked to see so many men so fit, very small waist. Look like they just been fit their whole life. Don't look like they live in the gym. You can see the difference between somebody that spends hours in the gym compared to somebody in which their lifestyle is healthy. I'm tired of people just assuming everybody that look ripped, they got a healthy lifestyle. You can literally eat 6 slices of pizza and then go to the gym for 6 hours. But how long can you keep that up when you get old? Like how long can you keep that up? So it's like it's better to just have a healthy lifestyle rather than try to use gym as your get out of jail toxic lifestyle card. I would rather just have a friend that literally wants to have a healthy lifestyle with me rather than like, okay, we eat a lot of junk, we eat a lot of garbage and this and that, and then we go to the gym 6-7 hours a week to make right. No. I was reading this lady's article online and she lost 60 pounds and she was saying what she didn't do was she didn't try to work off the weight. She didn't become a gym rat. She didn't get a bunch of different diet plans. She said what she did was just stay mindful of how much she ate, and she had a lifestyle that would automatically get her in shape. And her website came right up when I Googled women who lost weight or whatever, and her articles were popular. And she's an older woman, and she was saying that she doesn't do the gym, but she's like real fit. It's just her lifestyle. I just don't see me keeping up with gym. I don't want to go on the treads and breathe in other people's breath. And all those demons being released in the gym, a lot of people go to the gym to release toxicity and stress. I don't want to absorb their energy. But if I go outside, I'm dancing outside, you know what I'm saying? And I'm dancing around everybody else that's in good spirits. I don't really have to worry about absorbing anybody's demons. I just don't, dancing is supposed to give you everything at one time, not just feeling physically good. And this is why it makes no sense to try to get the same benefits from going to the gym. You're not getting the air. You're not getting the air. And you're not even getting the fruit drinks. What gym has a slushy area or fruit cocktail drinks there? They don't have that stuff. And what gym has a comfortable resting area? It doesn't. See what I'm saying? And most of these gyms don't even have windows open. I just find the gym air is dangerous. So I'm living like the Gilded Age. I would rather focus on one idea to fruition. I would rather just live my life involved in society, a lifestyle outside that will keep me in shape. Let me tell you something. When you are involved in society, you're motivated to love yourself. A lot of people are not involved in society no more. They're in their houses just chatting in comments. They're not outside looking around, going to activities, outdoor events and stuff. So that's why they're not motivated to take better care of themselves. They don't have to worry about their reputation being bad because they're hiding away in their vehicles, in their car, chatting in comments. Today when I was outside, just to be outside, I heard a lady walking by me and she was playing a old school song, and I'm like, why can't people just be outside? She was walking with somebody but playing like R&B music. And I'm like, why can't people just be outside? Like, whew, just explore. Why do we always got to have something coming into our minds when we wake up in the morning? Uh, Old school music and things like that. Why can't we just wake up with a good book, sit back, read, or go outside and read, take our lunch outside? Like, I try to eat my breakfast outside now, y'all. I try to eat my breakfast at least near an open window or with the back door open or outside because I don't see the point. I'm not getting all the nutrients. Like if I eat now and then schedule outside time later, that's taking up more of my time when I can actually get it all in at one time. All right, y'all, I got to head on out. I have a workshop to go to. And Hansi wants his belly rubbed. It's so funny, y'all. I wish y'all could see. Did you stretch yourself out so mommy can rub your belly? You want mommy rub your belly? Yeah? Hansi, you want mama rub your belly? You can say hi. Y'all hear Hansi? He's purring. You want mommy rub your belly? Hansi? Boy. All right. Thank you very much. Have a wonderful day, y'all. I'm going time jumping. I'm time jumping, y'all. Sometimes what we need ain't in this time period. You know how we store jump? How we go hopping from store to store? I'm time jumping. All right, bye everybody. Have a wonderful day. If you'd like to send a donation, you can send donations to my cash app at money sign coach V Hunter. If the energy still gets heavy and anxiety, you can burn your sage and do breath work. I'm gonna sit with my white light therapy on for 30 minutes today. I'm gonna get my white light therapy in the house. I might actually go to the gym. I might keep my gym membership just for the white light therapy room. Cause that therapy room, it's a blue light or white light. That's really important for older people. Cause white light therapy keeps you from getting early dementia. And people are not getting enough. No one is getting enough sun anymore. A lot of people have become workaholics. The grinding culture. They're not getting enough daylight. So that's why I think if you're online a lot and you're home a lot when you're online, you should actually get a white light therapy lamp and a white candle. Like if you're going to be online, listening to YouTube videos, sitting in your house, you should be like have a little white candle, You know, get one from your minister or something, one that they blessed, or get you a candle that you was drawn to get. You know, in the Gilded Age, they was burning candles too. That's another reason why they were abundant. They didn't have all that artificial light. All right, y'all. See y'all later. Have a wonderful day. Bye.